We have heard civil war, revolutionary war, world war, and now this is sanction war. A real war with Russia ever since Russia's aggression in Ukraine in 2014. The West has felt a need to do something substantial to impede Russian foreign aggression. Its natural choice has been sanctions. The West has focused on two kinds of sanction: financial and personal sanction on human rights violators and corrupt businessmen working for the Kremlin. In addition, the West has introduced some restrictions on the export of technology, while it has abstained from the previously common trade sanction. In general, sanctions are becoming more diverse, with the share of trade sanction falling, while financial and visa sanctions are becoming more popular. After years of life in a growing globally connected economy, Russia finds themselves in a country increasingly unplugged from the world. Following President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, a sweeping wave of sanctions by the European Union and the US has combined with an exodus of foreign companies and investors, leaving Russia more isolated and economically restricted. Several Russian banks are removed from the SWIFT, and sanctioning Russia's central bank are likely to cause several damage to Russian economy. Major companies are ending decades of business with Russia following Putin's invasion of Ukraine. The latest brands exiting the country include Shell, BP, Apple, and General Motors. Companies from around the world are pulling out of Russia as the country plunges into economic free fall following its invasion of Ukraine. Big oil companies BP, Shell both dumped their 20% stakes in Rosenfeld, Russia's state-backed energy giant, in the protest of military action against Ukraine. Apple announced it would halt all the product sales in Russia and block state media outlets RT News and Sputnik from the App Store. All the major US and European companies that have served business ties with Russia so far has untied their trade with Russia. ExxonMobil has begun the process to discontinue operations and develop steps to exit Sakhalin One venture, a project. The Sakhalin One website, it is one of the largest single international direct investment in Russia. The world's biggest aircraft leasing firm, AirCap, joined a growing list of companies looking to exit Russia as they stopped trading with Russian airlines and seek the return of hundreds of jets. Western nations agreed to put crippling sanctions on the country's financial sector. The ruble fell about 30% against the dollar, making it worth less than 1 US cent. A sharp devaluation of the ruble would mean a drop in the standard of the living of average Russian economic, and the analyst said. Russians are still reliant on a multitude of imported goods, and the prices for those items are likely to skyrocket. Foreign travel would become more expensive as their rubles buy less currency abroad. And the deeper economic turmoil will come in the coming weeks if the price shocks and supply chain issues cause Russian factories to shut down due to lower demand. The West is further tightening the screw against Moscow, ensuring no football matches will be played in Russia, and the country's flag and the anthem will be banned from any of the matches abroad, with the government body of the world, football, FIFA, announcing a number of sanctions against Russia and later expelled the country from the World Cup in Qatar this year. Among those hit by the sanctions is Russia's Direct Investment Fund, RDIF, which is the sovereign wealth fund of the Russian Federation. RDIF is a backer of Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine, which has been developed by the government's Gamaleya Research Institute. According to RDIF, Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine has been authorized in 71 countries, including India, with a total population of more than 4 billion people. It is developed by Gamaleya Research Institute, part of the Russia's Ministry of Health. The vaccine has an efficacy rate of 91.6% among fully vaccinated people. The restrictions imposed has complicated RDIF efforts on the international promotion of the Russia vaccine products, which have been lobbied by a number of large Western pharmaceutical companies. The US, EU and other nations has backed with other set of sanctions seizing the movement in the sea route. The world's 3 biggest container lines temporarily suspended cargo shipments to and fro from Russia. The France intercepted a Baltic vessel in the English Channel that was heading towards St. Petersburg but was diverted to the port of Boulogne-sur-Mer in North France. Britain announced a ban on vessels owned or operated by anyone with ties to Russia and also gave officials expanded powers to detain Russian ships as part of the new sanction. Russia is a high potential market for the food and drinks. The implementation of sanction has large drop of volume in the logistics. The largest affected group was agriculture products. The volume of the fruit transported to Russia from the EU dropped 36 times, vegetable 16 times, dairy products 10 times, and exports of meat stopped entirely. 1 million tons of goods per quarter transported by road is seized. Russian aircraft are prohibited from entering the US airspace. US Department of Transportation prohibited all the passengers, cargo and chartered flights. The flights to and from the Russia are now banned and Aeroflot will have to reroute the flights. On the whole, it has affected the movement of the Russian outside the country. It has walloped the students from migrating for higher studies. Despite the severe military operations in Ukraine disrupted the internet service, Elon Musk provided Starlink satellite in the war-hit zone. Once again, US, EU and other nations are standing together to denounce the Russian government. Thus, it's evident that the impose on sanctions are going to cause economic disruptions in Russia. It also has the potential to harm the country and it's going to ripple through the economic very fast.